Hi, I'm Bethany Wallace, Content Manager for College Recruiter. At College Recruiter, we believe every student and recent graduate deserves a great career. We create a quality candidate and recruiter experience. Our interactive media solutions connect students and graduates to great careers. Today's Tuesday tip is all about resume tips for non-traditional students. So, the first thing that you need to do if you're a non-traditional student writing a resume is be willing to toss out some of the generic rules or guidelines that are put in place for resume writing for traditional students. Two of those are that your resume needs to be only one page long and that you need to put your education at the top of your resume. Those are really pretty good guidelines for traditional students, but maybe not for you. If you're a non-traditional student, you probably have lots of work experience already, so it might not fit well onto one page. And if you try to squeeze it onto one page, you might leave some really important stuff out. And for that same reason, you might not want to list your education first or your degree at the top of your resume, because some of your work experience might actually supersede your degree. So if let's say you're graduating with a bachelor's degree in business, but you have worked as a sales manager for 5 years, and you're applying for other sales management positions when you graduate. Many businesses would see your work experience as a sales manager as at least as important as your business degree, if not more important. So make sure that you visit your career services office on campus and use our resume editing tool on collegerecruiter.com. Get some personalized advice about which things to list in what order if you're a non-traditional student, because those decisions can be a little bit tricky, and definitely those things are bigger decisions for you and more difficult decisions than for a traditional age student. The next tip I tell you is to use the term experience when listing work experience on your resume, because if you're a non-traditional student, you probably have lots of different types of experience, and all of that experience may not be paid. If you use the term work experience, it doesn't necessarily mean you were paid, but it sort of indicates that you were. If you use experience, you can list things like internships, volunteer experience, military experience, and so a lot of those things can fit into your experience category. Another thing that I'd tell you is to make sure that if you have gaps in your experience, that you're ready to explain those in the interview or on your cover letter if you don't list them or explain them on your resume. The decision about whether or not to explain them on your resume is really up to you, and the jury's sort of out among experts about whether or not it's best to do that on your resume. If you do explain it on your resume, be sure to explain what you did during that time that might be something that falls under your experience section. If you volunteered at your child's school or did substitute teaching, those are things that provide you with transferable skills for the workplace. Another thing that I would tell you is to make sure that you use the correct verb tense when you're listing accomplishment statements under each position description or position title. And so if it's something that you did in the past, then use past tense. If it's something you're doing now, then use present tense. Sounds like common sense, but a lot of people don't do that properly, and it can be a pet peeve for many employers. And then my last tip is just to make sure that you seek help when you're writing your resume. Particularly if you have lots of work experience that needs to go on your resume, you don't want to try to go it alone and detail all of that out by yourself, because it's complicated. So seek help from our resume editors and your career services folks. And be sure to follow us on collegerecruiter.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube for lots of tips like this and more.